Good evening, everyone. I'm going to go through a bunch of chart requests. I'm not looking at these stocks ahead of time. Tesla is one that I look at frequently, so I already have it annotated. But other than that, I'm going to be annotating these in real time, and the idea here is to kind of give you a peek inside of my thought process, and hopefully that'll help you learn a little bit more. So I'm going to get going with these chart requests that I've received tonight. First one I want to take a look at is Tesla. So I do have a potential falling wedge here. Right here you can see the highs, rejected, 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 and we did break outside of that on Friday's action right here. Another thing that I want to point out is the bottom end of this falling wedge right there that we've been bouncing from. The level that I really want to see hold is this 222 level. If we close below 222, it's kind of going to invalidate the falling wedge in my opinion. So we're kind of hinging right here. We did make a lower, actually we made a higher low today, but we did close below the bodies of the past few days right here. So still looking okay, but not ideal. I want to see tomorrow, I want to see it hold again right here. If we have another lower close below 2250 or so, that's going to kind of invalidate it to me. But overall, still looking okay. I think in the short term, as long as this level holds, that we can test at least 229, 230 up there. And next, let's take a look at AMD. I already did in another video. Oh, you know what? I will cover it here. So AMD, this is one that I have recently looked at as well, so it is already marked up. So we have a really nice uptrend here. Got a touch here, here, here. We didn't quite touch it all these times, but you can see that we're going along this very similar angle right here. Okay, so while those didn't touch it, they pretty much did. So really nice uptrend. Another thing is we broke over this resistance. You can see several candles right here getting rejected at $7. Again right here. Again these candles right here. And then right here last Thursday got rejected right there. And then on Friday, a nice breakout candle with some heavier volume right there. So nice action right here. $7 support. I think that if that gets tested, we do get a bounce from there on AMD. All right, let's see what the next one we got is. Let's look at NOK. All right, so NOK, this is one that I have not looked at recently. And I'm seeing a downtrend line right here. Okay, you can see we've got touch right there, and then several touches right there. So downtrend line right there. And then let's see if I can draw an uptrend right here. Yeah, so we got an uptrend line right here. So you want to see, we're kind of in the middle right here. Break over this downtrend line, we can head higher. Break below this downtrend line, we're going to head lower. Overall here, not the best looking stock right here. You can draw a longer term downtrend line from here. You can see that, and what's the reason that I'm drawing it through these candles and not through the highs? Well, what matters is the close of the candle, and while these candles went above it, the close can't close below it. So we've got touches there, touches here, and then I see some pretty big resistance, in the $6 range, as well as in the about $5.75. So it's really thick in this range right here. So more than likely, we're going to resolve to the downside just because that's how trends work. The trend is more likely to continue rather than change. So playing with the odds, more than likely NOK is going to head down from here, but you can look for a potential breakout if it closes above about 575 or so. All right, let's see what the next chart request is. The next chart we have is PLNT. PLNT, this is one that I have looked at recently. We've got a nice little flag breakout right here. Was trading sideways. You know, here's the uptrend, and then here's this sideways flag that we got. And we broke out on, what was this? Last Friday, not two Fridays ago was right here. We broke out where we broke out on a heavy volume. You can see the volume right here is about 3 times the average volume. So that's exactly what you want to see on breakout candles. You want to see it with really nice volume. So that to me makes me believe that PLNT is headed for higher prices. And then you can draw a uptrend line right here as well. Nice touches right there. So we're pretty far away from this, but just kind of draw it on your own chart because that's a really nice uptrend line. If we do end up seeing some downside, more than likely it'll bounce from this area right there. So not much else to say about PLNT. You know, we've got that support at 1950, and then support right here at about $21. As you can see, we got rejected at this level several times here recently. You can see here we gapped up, came back, retested that, and got a bounce. So short-term support, $20.80 approximately. All right, let's see the next one, Dr. Pepper, DPS. All right, DPS, I actually just looked at this one earlier today, and we've got a support break right here. You can see how many bounces we got from this level, about 95.75. Here's a bounce, here's a couple bounces, and then we broke through it with this candle right here. And then as you can see right here, we tried to close above it, couldn't quite do it. Again, got a reversal candle there. Tested it one more time before heading lower. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. Next support is right around 92.85. All right. Let's see if I can draw an uptrend. So, you know, this is pretty steep right here. It did break this uptrend line, but I'm not going to put, you know, a ton of weight on it. Obviously, you know, we broke some support, and I do think that, you know, we're going to at least test this level right here. But you know, don't put a ton of weight on this. This is kind of a short-term support break. Overall, you know, we've got quite a bit of support in this range. You know, between $88 and $90. You can see the gray bars over here are the volume by price bars, and you can see the sideways trading right here. And sideways trading, that's what creates support and resistance. And since we're above this sideways trading action right here, that means all this area is going to be a lot of support. So definitely, you know, potential bounce zones are going to be between, you know, 92 and 88. I know that's kind of a wide range right there, but that's how I'm seeing it. So short term, more than likely gets at least a short-term bounce off of this support. You can see how many times it got rejected here, 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 and then we blasted off out of there. So now that we're above this level, that's going to be support. So keep those levels in mind for DPS. All right, let's take a look at PRRY. I wonder if PRRY is a penny stock, because I am not able to look at penny stocks. So apologies right there. So CRBP. So CRBP, first thing that I'm seeing is pretty nice uptrend here. You can see we got a touch here, and then several touches right here along that end right there. And then you can see right here that we broke over this little mini downtrend line that was holding us down right there, touches, and then we broke over that right as we tested the uptrend line. So nice action right there. Nice little pattern that we broke out of. You can call that a flag if you want. That's a bull flag. Here's the pole, here's the flag, and a nice breakout of that pattern. Another thing that's important to note is I always mention these volume by price bars, and as you can see, a lot of support. We're above a lot of support. So nice breakout. Not as much resistance above us, but I will point those resistances out right around 420 or so. You can see we got rejected here and right here. A couple of resistance points over here as well. So 420 is going to be that next resistance level. That's about 30 or so cents higher than where we're at. So just be aware of that that level, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw at least some downside after hitting that that mark at 420. We've been kind of in a nice breakout range, and getting up to that level. First of all, I think we are probably going to test that level, but this is an area where I would be more careful on the long side. So nice breakout. Yeah, we're doing well. Volume's coming into the stock. Everything looks good, but might be wise to trim some in that area. At least that's what I would do. But keep in mind, if we do get rejected, coming back down here, we still have this uptrend line support right there, and that's really the level that you want to see hold on a long-term basis. All right, next let's take a look at Wendy's. All right, so Wendy's, let's see if I can draw an uptrend right here. That is pretty good. Nice uptrend line, touch here, 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 and then several touches along right here. So nice uptrend line. Looks like we may be headed down to test that uptrend line. If that's the case, more than likely it gets a bounce. If it doesn't bounce off this trend line, I would be concerned on the long side personally. But definitely, as I have mentioned many times before, trends are more likely to continue. So more than likely the stock gets a bounce here, but you never know. On the upside, we do have some resistance up here. You can see a rejection right here, almost right there, and then several candles right here getting rejected right there at about 1025. So support is this uptrend line, and then also let's get some horizontal support. About 940 or so is going to be that support. You can see how many bounces we got from that area over here as well as over here. So about 940 is really the level that you want to see hold on Wendy's. AMD, we already covered that. Amat. So Amat, really bullish stock right here. You can see, I'm not sure if I can draw an actual uptrend line where it's going to give me a lot of touches. Yeah, not really. So I'm just going to delete that right there. But overall, very bullish stock. We broke over this resistance. I noted it in a video a while ago. Another thing that we did is we broke over this resistance right here. We'll just update that. Let's see here. Right about there. So you can see, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it better. Rejected, 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 and then we broke over it on this candle right there. So that was a nice long signal right there. Nice breakout on high volume. And as you can see, again, day number 2 of this breakout. And we're holding, we made a higher low, and we're holding ground right here. So definitely a bullish stock overall. Let's take a look at the next chart here, CERU. All right, see what I can see here. Okay, so CERU, big gap down here recently. We've got a big resistance here at about 190 or so. You can see that it was support, 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 many times getting a bounce from that 190 level. And now that we're below it, it's going to be resistance. So if we do end up popping here to the upside, just be aware that 190 or so is going to be big resistance. Short term, I'm going to look at the weekly chart just because okay. And here we can draw a nice downtrend line as well. So if you're looking at these charts, it shouldn't be that big of a surprise to you when they do what they do, because they're just continuing with the trend. So the trend has been down. You can see that. So it shouldn't be a huge surprise when they end up heading lower, because that's what they've been doing for quite some time. Trends tend to continue more than change. All right, AUPH. AUPH. And I'm going to go back to the the daily time frame here. So this one did quite a bit of damage to the chart here recently. You can see here we looked pretty decent, As you can see, we gapped down pretty big. So short term, I'm trying to get some levels here. Okay, so right around 175, the low of this candle right here, and then as you can see, this was the lowest close. The close of this candle right here, this red one right here, was 174. So all these candles dipped below it, but we ended up closing back above it. So right here, we bounced from it several times before. Again, right here, we bounced from it. Right here, so 175 is going to be kind of the next make or break level for AUPH. So if we close below this level, I'm not really going to be interested in it. As long as we hold this level, we can get a nice pop from it. In 175, if you're into bottom fishing, that would be the area that I would get it at. I wouldn't really be that interested in it anywhere except for that. So 175, make or break. That's how I would play it personally. Next, let's take a look at Ralph Lauren. Ralph Lauren, one that I have looked at. You can see that, I'm going to go to the weekly time frame. You can see it better. So you can see we did break out of this box here, trading sideways for, pretty much the entire year. About 6 months or so right here. We traded outside of the box. Right here we broke out of this box with heavier volume. You can see that right there. And now we're just kind of digesting these gains. So I'm going to also draw this downtrend line. So we broke that downtrend line with heavier volume. We broke this box. Overall, this stock looks pretty good, and on a longer term time frame, the next real resistance I'm seeing is right around 130. So more than likely it tests that level up there, 130, sometime in the not so distant future. So look for that on Ralph Lauren. All right, let's take a look at, let's go with Apple. Apple here, we did break over this downtrend line. This is the weekly chart right here. So weekly chart, we've been in a down, or we were in a downtrend since the middle of 2015. You can see right here, we broke that, made a lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low here, and then now we're coming up here and we broke this downtrend line right here off of that earnings gap up. Definitely the most positive action lately that we've seen out of Apple. I think that Apple ends up heading much higher here, and you can also draw, let's see if I can draw an uptrend line right here. Yeah, so a pretty decent uptrend line. So we've got this. This is an area where I would look for bounces. If we do end up consolidating lower, which I'm not saying it will, but if it does, this would be the area that I would be looking for a bounce on Apple stock. More than likely, it probably won't retest that, and it's just going to kind of truck along and continue higher. So we'll see what it does, but definitely like Apple for higher here in the long term. Let's take a look at PTX. And PTX here, we've got, let's look at the daily time frame. And this is one that I have looked at as well. So we've got an uptrend right here. Okay, bounces, bounces, bounces. Nice gap up with some heavy volume right there. So one of the biggest volume days ever on PTX right there. Nice gap up. A lot of volume coming into the stock. Overall, very bullish. You can see that it bounced off of this support right here. It was resistance, big, huge resistance right here. I pointed out this breakout a while ago, when it occurred. Nice breakout from that point. Came back, retested it, got a bounce from there. So this is a nice support that you want to keep an eye on. Definitely think that PTX can head higher. A lot of volume coming into the stock, so volume is something that you definitely want to pay attention to. Let's look at Intel. So Intel, you can see that I have this drawn up a little bit. So we broke over this downtrend line right here, touches, and we finally broke over it right here. So right here it looks like we're kind of just consolidating sideways, more than likely going to resolve to the upside. If you look right here, we have a really nice uptrend line. Touch right there, right here, right here, right here, and right here. So can't ask for a better uptrend line than that right there. So over the downtrend line, nice uptrend line, and then this is going to be a nice breakout point right here. If we can break out over these highs over here, over these highs, so if we break out over about $35, $50, $36, we can definitely see some higher prices on Intel. I'm going to do a couple more here. We go with Geo. Geo here, big breakdown here, big breakdown. We did see some buying tails right here, but what we do have still is a gap right here. So this candle right here, this big red candle, it closed right here at about 1950. Next day, we gapped up, so we still got this big gap down here to fill. So more than likely, we're going to see a rejection here at $26. So a big support was broken. So see how many times we bounced from this level? That was a big support right there, and we broke below that. So more than likely, we're going to come up here, retest that 26, come back down, and fill that gap down there at about 1950. So just be aware of this situation right here. This is not a friendly candle right here. So while the buyers have been in control, it's kind of just, in my opinion, just a short covering rally right here, because this is really big down move, quite extended right there. So not a big surprise that we're seeing an up move, and I also wouldn't be surprised to see a downside move once we hit that $26 mark. I'm going to do a couple more. Alright, I'm going to do GWPH because you asked so nicely. Alright, so GWPH, first thing I'm noticing is we're right at the biggest resistance zone. So we're right there. So can we break over it? Yeah, we can definitely break over it. But right here, it's kind of why we're trading sideways, because a lot of resistance right here. So volume at price, these aren't just some random lines here. This is how much volume has been traded at a particular price. And what volume does is it creates support and resistance. It's another way of creating support and resistance. So we're right there, just to give you an idea. Another thing that I want to draw right here is I think I can draw this little uptrend line that we had broken. I'm not going to put a ton of weight on that. So what I mean by that is, I'm not just going to be shorting GWPH based off of this, trend line break, but I am going to be cautious on the long side, is more what that means. So short term here, I see support at about 81.40 or so. Overall, not a lot to work with on this chart. So we've got a lot of resistance around this area. We've got this trend line break right here. We've got a little support right here, but I'm not seeing any great patterns or great supports or resistances to really kind of work with. So other than what I've already mentioned. So if you have any questions, any of you on any of the stocks that I've covered, let me know, and I will be more than happy to address them. All right, guys, have a great night, and I will see you next time.